So, welcome to the Scrutineer. This is the show we tell you everything about GPVWC's Super League series that's going on right now. We're now coming up to the round tomorrow for Valencia, which is round 4. We've already seen many different winners, lots of things going on, different weather happening, all this going on. But what happens underneath that car and underneath, behind the scenes in those teams makes all the difference on the track. So that's what this show is about. We're going to tell you everything that's going on. If you've watched the previous ones, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, where have you been? It's great that you've caught us. Time to catch up. So, we've had a lot of car upgrades for this round as well. We didn't have many last time, so a lot of teams have upgraded for this time. So we'll go through them. We'll go through the engine upgrades as well, because engine manufacturers have also upgraded. We will then go through the engine choices, because we've seen that's made a bit of a difference already so far in some races. And we'll go through the tyre choices, which have been a big talking point over the past couple of races. So, I'll take you through these people in championship order. I think it's the easiest way for you to know. So, top in the team standings at the moment is Vodbull. They came to this race with some upgrades already on the car, but they managed to add on some front wing downforce as well. So I'm going to keep referring to notes through this. So they came to some front wing downforce, and that adds them up to 46 development points so far. It's the simplest way to sort of show you who's got the most upgrade points on the cars. So that actually makes them the 11th most developed car out of 12 for this round coming up. So that's pretty low down. Nordstrom are second in the championship. They brought to this time some rear wing downforce and some better weight development, so they've got less weight on the car. So that brings them in at 69 points developed on the car, and that's the 4th best car development point wise on the grid for tomorrow. Walters, they also brought in the rear wing downforce and more weight again. They've already done it, but they had more weight on the car. They've got the highest weight development, so they've got the lightest car on the grid, and they've got 71 points developed on the car, so that is 3rd. So they've got the 3rd best car development point wise. Hawkeye, they did some diffuser downforce, and they also did some body drag, so that gives them 72%, and that's the 2nd most developed car on the grid. Madcape, now these are the guys that we saw slow start. They're still slowly, but they are developing now, so we saw them do some front wing downforce. That's only one area they did, unlike most people that did 2. They did 1 last time as well, so that says to me they're probably going to do 1 every round, but they've just started late. Rookie error maybe, or maybe they're going to swing a surprise next time out. I'm kind of thinking rookie error if I was just reading into it at the moment. But hey, they've got 25 on the car, so that makes them the worst car on the grid, still at 12, but they are catching up very slowly. Kerno, they put the front wing downforce and rear wing downforce on this time, so that brings them up to 68, and that is the 5th most developed car. Street Fighter are next in line. They did the front wing downforce even more. They've got the most of that of any team to 40%, and that gives them 59 points in total, which is the 7th best car on the grid, so they're our good mid-range team. Adonis, they put themselves some diffuser downforce and body drag on the car, so that gives them 73 most developed, and that makes them the most developed car on the grid points-wise. We do know that that's just it's up to the teams where they've chosen to put those points and that development, but that's the most developed they're on the grid. Storm, we saw them put both developments on last time out, really going for it. I don't think the rain really helped, and they gambled for that race, didn't quite pay off, so they put nothing extra on the car this time. So they had the best car last time out, and they're now down with the 10th car. So that sees how it changes from one race to the next. Expect to see them at the top again next time out though. Red Archer, they brought in the rear wing downforce, and they've also brought in more weight on top of what they'd already done. So that gives them 58 points worth, and they're the 8th best car going. Woods, they brought some body drag, so they've only done 1 upgrade this time, not 2 like most teams. So again, maybe they're doing 1 for next time and 1 each time. So that would explain why they've only got 48 points on the car, and that's the 9th best going there. And Green Stripes, they've brought the front wing downforce and the rear wing downforce, which gives them 65 overall, and makes them the 6th best car. So they're our midpoint team. So that car's actually not too bad considering where they are at the bottom of the standings currently. So that would be interesting to see how they crack on. It's good to see that there's quite a lot of teams that have sort of maybe this is a plan all along, but equally it does look like some of these teams have looked at some of the top teams from the first few races. So for example, we saw that Vodbull, for example, had done the front wing downforce, which most people hadn't, along with Nordstrom as well, but and a few others. But quite a lot of teams have now chosen to do that, having seen the win that Vodbull managed to pull off. and the top of the standings at the moment. And we've also seen a lot of people now go for the rear wing downforce, probably having seen Hawkeye win their race, because it would have been just enough time having seen that win. So that's interesting as well, that people are potentially listening to other teams and seeing what they're putting on that car and potentially copycatting a little bit, which does put them behind, but maybe it won't, maybe we'll see. So maybe we've got some leaders there. What I haven't counted in any of that, of course, if you've been watching any of the other shows, is the pit stop development time, which if you're looking on the site is why it's different to what I've got on here. The pit stop change time, quite a few teams have chosen to do now. There's not many that haven't. And just to give you a guide though, for example, the quickest pit stop time in theory would be Red Bull's at 3.42 seconds, along with Nordstrom at 3.44 seconds. I mean, it's the tiniest difference ever. But compare that to people that haven't done development on it or much, which is like Mad Cape, Street Fighter, Woods. They're down at about the 4.6 second mark. So that's a good, over a second just in the pits. So if you come into a battle, particularly you're thinking there's some, if those drivers are up near the top and they're going into the pits at the same time as the Nordstrom guys or the Red Bull guys, they could easily come out behind them, even if they went in ahead of them. So that's another factor to play into the hands of people. We saw Nordstrom do it in the past, in years gone by, where they've played that to their advantage brilliantly, having had the best pit crew. Quite a lot of teams have decided to jump on that bandwagon as well, so it negates it a little bit, but compared to some teams, it does make a bit of a difference. So that's your cars. So we're seeing there, just to give you a quick rundown, if you're talking just cars on their own, points-wise, you're talking Adonis as number 1, Hawkeye is number 2, and Walters at number 3. And equally your bottom 3, so your worst developed cars, you've still got Mad Cape at the bottom, you've got Red Bull second from bottom, and you've got Storm Racing third from bottom. So that's the top and bottom of your cars. Just on development points, can make a big difference where you decide to use them. Engines, so if you remember rightly, we've got 4 engine manufacturers. Last time out we saw Valiant put an engine upgrade on when no one else did. This time out they haven't been able to put anything on because they did that. So they're on a different sync, so we'll probably see them develop next time, whereas the other 3 won't. We have seen the other 3 manufacturers put something on this time though. So we have seen Martex, who now have the most developed engine. They've now added fuel consumption to the power they've done previously, so they put 23% on. So they've now got a 49 total engine, which actually, if you're talking brake horsepower, which not everyone's done power, but just as a rough guide for some of you, that's about 819 brake horsepower. Okay. Trinity, they haven't done that, but they added 20 boost, so they're the only team to have done boost so far. They added that to the fuel they'd already previously done, so that gave them 46 in total. So they're a few behind, but different areas, and they're roughly about 802 brake horsepower, so it's quite a big difference in brake horsepower. That's not the picture to look at in that case, because that's really all about the boost on the mapping there. Talos, they've done more fuel consumption, so they've got their brilliant fuel consumption. They've done no power and no boost, so they can run a lot less fuel, so that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. And they get 43 total there, but they've got about 811 brake horsepower, so it's not a big difference when you think about that. It's about, you're talking about 7 different, somewhere around there. Valiant, just to give you an idea, they're still at 40 points, so they're not far behind, and they have about 817 brake horsepower. Of course, these are, if they're new engines, that is. We'll come on to this now, where that's if we've got a brand new 100% engine. If you've got a car that has used that engine already, it's already worn, so if it's at say 70%, you're losing power. They drop it down on the brake horsepower scale from whatever your optimum would be at 100%, takes it down by, you're roughly talking about 5 to 10 brake horsepower difference depending on how worn your engine is. On engines, let's go through that then, shall we? Seamless link there. So on your engines, we'll go through the standings by team again. So Red Bull, they have gone with 100% for Rudy Van Buren. If you remember last time, he used a very worn 40% engine, so he's now taken the fresh one, so he's used the same engine for the first 3 rounds, which is the optimum way to do it. They have to last at least 3 rounds really, because you've only got 6 for the whole season. So he's now kicked into his engine 2, just as to the plan really. Capit, on the other hand, has got a 70% engine. He took a fresh one out last time, so that's where that comes in. Nordstrom, Fidek again, following very much the same route as Van Buren. He's got a new 100% engine, having used one last time out. Gaia, though, after that first round where he had an early DNF, it meant that he did have some, he basically saved an engine's worth for a race. So he's still got that engine 1, and he's got a 40% engine. So this is pretty much the most warm that engine will ever be, because after this they won't use it again. Walters, they used a fresh one last time out with Baldy to win that race. So he's now got a 71% engine, so that's had 1 race on it. It's not too bad. It's got to last another one as well. so that's not too bad. The second car, Shranku, he's got 100% engine for this one. He did have a DNF earlier in the year already, so that's why his engines have lasted a little bit longer. Hawkeye, Cooper starts this race with a non-fresh engine. His first race, he's used 3 already. This is his first race, he's going to use the same engine again. So he's used an awful lot of fresh engines. He's now a 70% engine, in fact, for this race in the Hawkeye. Olsen still has an 83% engine. Finish rate hasn't quite been there yet, so that's where that one comes in. Mad Cape, the new person coming in and sitting in that Mad Cape instead of De Jong, who has saved his engine a lot, granted by DNFing. So there's an 92% engine there, and that's for Ryan Walker. You may have seen him earlier in the year in the Super Cup briefly, but he has got some history with the league over many years, to be fair. So watch out, see how he does. He's now partnering Morris, as we know, and Morris has a 68% engine, so that's still got another couple of races to run on that, really. Kerno, they've got Bart de Vos on a 51% engine, and Zapanik on a 97% engine, so take that as you will. Zapanik's got a nice powerful engine, basically only one at 97. SOS, they've got Hovell on a 71% engine, so remember Hovell was back in that car, having missed a round where we had Meinek in there as well, so Meinek's been hopping from car to car. Not in the picture this time out. He's only allowed to do 4 as a reserve, and he's done 3 already, so that's interesting throughout the year. We may have to see another driver step in if the drivers can't make it. But 71% for Hovell, and Franchik in the other car will have a 70 because he used it last time out. Adonis, they've been following the route of, say, Feiduk and Van Buren. They've now got both their cars with 100% engines into this, so Canton and Lopez potentially using fresh engines and all that extra power that they can use there. Storm, having had the fresh engine last time out to utilise with their brand new car and all the upgrades, hasn't got that this time, so Gexella only running on a 70% engine, which means that he's had 1 race on it already. McNaughton, interestingly, has a 45% engine, but that's because he's got a better finishing rate, so he jumped back to the same engine as well. So they'll also have an engine at 70% there. Red Archer, they've gone for brand new fresh engines, so Thomas Hinz sitting there with a 100% engine. It's going to be nice, a lot of power behind him. And their replacement driver for at least a couple of rounds, Fournier, he's got 100% as well. That was announced earlier in the week as well, so that's brilliant. Another interesting factor there to add into the whole mix that we've got here. Woods, Redshaw and Jacobs, we've already heard, if you've watched the Super League, they did a bit of a tactical DNF last time out to save those engines. So they've got a 75 for Redshaw and a 77 for Jacobs. So does it pay off? Let's see. It might not even see that this round, you might see it further down the line when other teams are having to use very worn engines and they've saved a little bit of engine power. And GSR at the end, Varley on a 54% engine, and Ben Willis stays in the car and steps in again, I hear, and he's got a 50% engine. So we've got a few new drivers in there as well, another factor to add in to what's going on. So the big one that a lot of people I know listen to this show for, is tyres. We have seen already in the 3 races we've had that tyres are absolutely everything. Can you keep the tyres lasting an extra lap even? Just one little thing. Potentially, Boldy won it because he kept the wet tyres going last time out. Obviously, all the tyre choices we spoke about last time, with the rain coming down, were absolutely useless. Everyone just used the wet tyres. So we may see that again, but if we don't, we see a nice dry race, which is more likely by the looks of things. Might even be mixed, but dry potentially. Do you remember we've spoken about the sort of tyre choices people have had? You've got 5 choices. You can choose the ultra soft, the super soft, and the soft, or the medium, or the hard. We haven't seen anyone go for the hard, but we have in the past seen people like Adonis going more for the medium-based tyres, and a few people following them. And we've seen Bob Bull running lots of pit stops, but on lots of soft and ultra soft tyres. This time out, everybody has gone the same. They've all gone that, what I'm calling the Bob Bull route anyway, which was the ultra soft, the super soft, and the soft tyres. Every single team has those 3 tyre choices options to them. That says there might be just this track that is really suited to this, or it might just be that everyone's following suit and going, you know what, that's the fastest way to do this. We've seen race winners now doing this. So expect everybody to have ultra soft tyres for the race for qualifying. So that's fantastic. We can have a real shootout now. There's no mixing about. Everyone's on super softs and some on ultras. No, everybody's on ultra tyres. If you've got any smarts about you, they're going to use them for that. You don't have to. They can use all 3 if they'd like to throughout the race. They have to use at least 2. So you expect most races so far have gone ultra soft for qualifying, and then you go soft for the rest. Could happen. We might see some super soft. Sorry, we may see some people going softs, or we may see some people doing 2 lots of ultras. It does depend how much they keep those tyres lasting. So that's not quite as big a factor this time out as it has been sometimes, but you've still got that huge factor that they have got 3 choices, and it's how you actually use them throughout the course of the race. That's really exciting to see, particularly if you throw a little bit of rain in there as well, and then it all goes out the window, because you don't even have to use both types if you use those wet weather tyres. So throwing all that into the mix, what have we got for tomorrow? We're talking Valencia, we're talking a street circuit, we've got different cars, we've got different engine choices, we've got different engine levels. It's all going to be absolutely brilliant, and I will be watching manically on the edge of my seat like I am every time it's been racing so far. This is growing into what looks like a fantastic season. 3 race winners so far from 3 different teams, 3 different engine manufacturers. What more can you ask? It shows it, yes, this is all going on, it makes minor differences, but actually those drivers can make a massive difference, and it's all really close still. Make sure you tune in. We're going to be here again in 2 weeks' time talking to you about the race in Canada that's coming up. The Super League show, though, is back next week on the Thursday as well, and they're straight a week after the Super League race itself, and they're going to be discussing everything that goes on tomorrow night. Catch it on GPVWC.com and their YouTube channel as well if you want to watch it live. Obviously, any questions to the Super League show straight after, tweet them, send it on the bottom of the YouTube comments, anything you want to do. I'm sure they will listen and they will pick up on those comments, anything you notice in the race that maybe the commentators missed, maybe we should look into, maybe we should talk to some drivers and find out the answers for you. That's what we're here for. We are SimNews.TV, and we are looking at everything to do with sim racing in general. This has been GPVWC though, and make sure you catch up on all our shows. Subscribe below and you won't miss a thing. There's a lot more coming from this series. Make sure you watch back some of these old shows as well. They are very useful, particularly with the Super League, because it does grow as the season goes on. I've been Mike the Scrutineer, and thank you for watching SimNews.TV, and I shall see you in 2 weeks' time.